We were talking about medicine and doctor visits and so forth today, and I just read, I'm glad Biggie's here for this. I was reading about Ozempic and Mounjaro. They did a huge study on it and found the most effective one of those jabs, one of those shot weight loss or diabetes medications, I guess, at losing weight is Mounjaro, beating Ozempic. And Mounjaro came out at number 1.
Yeah.
You're nodding. You knew that.
Well, I think I've seen those studies too.
Yeah.
I've heard that for a while that Mounjaro is the better option. I think Ozempic's just the name.
Was first on the scene. Yeah. That's the one you heard of first. And now it's like Mounjaro's beating it. The doctor that we were talking about, her name is Stacy Nato. And I guess you all don't have, you're not surprised by this. She works at a rejuvenation center in Los Angeles. Okay.
You know what that is.
Yeah. That's like
plumpers and fillers.
She's the head specialist at a rejuvenation center.
I'm sure she's very wealthy.
She is wealthy, and in her spare time, she competes in bodybuilding competitions.
Oh.
And they bill her as, when she goes to these bodybuilding competitions, they bill her, they call her out as the hottest doctor on the planet. So, and of course, she's out on TikTok with their videos and so forth.
Oh.
And so now she says when patients come to see her, she feels they don't take her advice seriously because she's so hot. She said, there's a price I pay for this hotness, and that is that my patients don't take me seriously.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, but given her choice of work, her patients are also hoping to be hotter.
They're trying to be hotter. Yeah. Yes, I think that's why they go to her. I think so.
I trust a hot person to make me hotter.
I would too.
Look at you. You go to the gym. Surrounded by hotties.
I try. It's fact.
It's true. You want people to invest in the career choice that they've taken. I want a fat chef.
Do you remember? Let me say this. Do you recall? This is about the gym. There was a young woman who's just attractive as she can be, and she's young now, 20s, and she moved off to Austin, Texas. I do
remember Austin.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember the move.
So
broke your heart.
Thought about following her.
I don't think I saw you checking flights to Austin on your computer.
No,
that wouldn't be right.
No. I just like. First of all, she was so nice. I just really liked her.
Real nice.
You say she's
of course, nice as she
real
could be,
nice.
and very attractive. And she used to I used to just really enjoy being in her class.
Don't leave.
And I would say to her, "You're not going anywhere, are you?" And she's like, "I'm moving to Austin." It's like, well, no, what's in Austin?
No, you don't want to live in that liberal city.
You don't want to be down there, girl. Come on now. Well, rumor had it she was coming back over Thanksgiving and might attend a class. So I attended every single class.
Okay. Morning, noon, night?
Morning, noon, and night.
Every day.
I went. My wife says, "What's going on with you?" I said, "Well,
Don't worry about it.
I got to fight the battle of the bulge here at the holidays.
Blood pressure's up.
Woo, got to get in there. Blood pressure's up. Better get in." Sure enough,
it happened?
Day after Thanksgiving. She came in a little late. I was like, oh, my gosh, there she is. There she is.
Texas.
Austin, Texas is back. So I stand up straighter and I run faster,
Suck it in.
Suck in my
Well, now,
gut.
is she an guest instructor or was she just a classmate?
Just a classmate.
Okay.
She's not a guest.
A peer.
A peer. Yeah. So I tried to get. I got a station near her and everything.
Did you peer?
I peered. And
he peered.
And at the end of
And
it,
What was she wearing?
spandex.
Any competition?
A lot of. Oh, sure. Are you kidding? It was
Other fellers in there?
A ton of guys in there.
Trying to
Yeah.
muscle their way
Oh, we all
into
start texting each other. She's here.
Yeah.
And they start
Did you send up the, well, I guess in this case it wouldn't be a bat signal, but like the erect penis symbol
We all were
in the
excited.
sky?
We were all
She's a
excited.
poor woman.
Put
I
a
know.
flag outside the
All
building.
y'all wearing your don't mess with Texas shirts. I love
I
Texas.
know. It's like, hook 'em horns. Let's go, And so I went over to her when the class was over. And I said, "It is so great to have you back. We missed you so much." And she said something I'll never forget. She said, "Remind me of your name again."
Back to reality.
Yeah, okay. And it was one of those two where I reached out for a hug and she had to do the old,
A side hug
yeah,
kind
the
of
old
thing,
side.
or just avoid?
The avoidance hug, yes.
During the course of
Unfortunate.
my medical journey, I've had a chance to meet a number of medical professionals, and I don't want to give away any names, but I did encounter one person who said that this person for a brief time attended the same gym you did.
Oh, really?
And I said, "What do you remember?" And this person said, "Jesus Christ, that guy sweats a lot."
Oh, my God. I'm the sweatiest guy there is. Let me tell you this.
I believe it.
I'll have to own it. I have to own it.
You own it.
I sweat so much. I mean, I drip on the floor. Others don't. I sweat so much. And in fact...
And to what end?
Exactly. I mean, to what end? I'm going in today. On my off day, I said, I'm going in. I don't care. I'm just doing it.
Is there any correlation between lots of sweat and high blood pressure?
I've always heard the more you sweat, the better shape you're in.
From whom?
Who told you that?
Myself. I said I have. Actually, a couple other guys who sweat a lot too. It's like I think we're sit around and go. I think we're in really good shape.
If sweat equaled weight loss, though, there'd be a lot more.
I don't think it equals weight loss. I think it's your body. I don't know this,
but everybody processes heat differently. Right?
That's right. Yeah, but anyway,
it's a lot of sodium in your sweat. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's.
I thought that was a good relief of that.
Maybe it is. Maybe that's right. But I do know this. When I'm on the treadmill, there's a long mirror in front of the treadmill. And there's 13 treadmills lined up along the wall, and in front of you is a mirror. Mm-hmm. And so I run at different places. When you get there, you choose what treadmill you want, and then that's the one you're on.
You're always a oneer, right? You like one?
I like one or 12 because they're on the ends. There's 12 treadmills, so it's like I like
splash as few people as possible.
Exactly. I like to be away.
That wall must look like a murder zone.
Yeah. So. At the end of every workout that I do, usually I just leave immediately and go home and take a shower. But sometimes I have to shower to come back here to do my award-winning podcast with B.B. Shea, the Square and the White Round.
It's still going on.
Yeah, as long as you've been gone, Chris Demm, still happening.
Surely that will come to the close with the end of the year.
One would think.
We're continuing it through the next year, and we're coming in over the holidays to do it. Nonetheless. So once I shower, now all that's left, everybody's gone except for the employees. And I'll always look in there, and they've got a mop, and they're mopping the mirror only at where
a vertical
surface where I was, because droplets of sweat have flown. And they're like standing on a treadmill with the cleaner.
There's one up here.
Yeah, with the cleaner and doing it. It's like the sweat is just unending. And
squeegee it off.
That's what they're doing. They have one of those devices that they can do it. That happens a lot. And then the other day, we had a little trivia at the end of. Sometimes they'll do this with prizes, and they did a trivia question, and they said, "Now this is for no one in particular or anything, but we're going to do Super Bowl trivia out of nowhere." Okay, and they asked,
kind of your thing.
No kidding. And so they say, what quarterbacks won the most Super Bowl? Tom Brady. And they say, you're right. You've won a sweat towel. And they get it.
It was a setup.
And nobody else said a word.
Did you notice nobody else raised a hand?
Nobody else raised a hand.
Okay, that's it. We're done.
And they said, that's the only question we have.
Good.
That's it. It's over. That's it.
Gee, this is a big towel.
Man, this is a great
one of the
towel.
bigger ones, isn't it?
I said, are you sure you need? Do I need that much?
You want it.
You got it. Take it. Enjoy it. Thank you. Matthew, you're talking about lots of sweat and how it relates to health and blood pressure. Go ahead.
Hey, P1.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I've been low. I'm 42.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm close to Biggie's age.
Mm-hmm.
I've been low sodium now for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And sweating is probably the most important part of maintaining my blood pressure, because they've been telling me I had high blood pressure since I was like 25.
Whew. So you're saying sweating a lot is a good thing?
It's the most important part of what I do to maintain my blood pressure. I have a little personal sauna that I use in my garage, but I have a little home gym.
Ooh, great.
And it's I have to sit down in this little chair and get hunched over, and it heats me up, and I sweat in it, and it's got a little sponge in the bottom of it that soaks up all the sweat, and it stays pretty nasty.
I never heard of such a device. That's something. Well, I'm glad to hear
home
that.
saunas are a thing.
Oh,
my wife would love one.
Oh, really? She wants a home. That'd be nice.
Yeah, you have access to one, Kelly?
Can we ask what your blood pressure is or was?
So it was always about 140, 145 over 90. And but I've been taking blood pressure medication now for a couple years. I take losartan. Which doesn't really cause a lot of the bad side effects that the other ones can cause. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I exercise daily and keep my weight down. And sweating, I think, is the most important thing, because even if I don't sweat in the wintertime, it still goes up. My blood pressure will go up.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's my blood pressure is 139 over 74. The bottom number was okay, but the top number, the 139, was the concern. Thank you very much, Matt.
There's no wiggle room in individuals, is there? I mean, it's supposed to be 120/80, right?
Correct.
It can't. Some people just can't.
That's right. It's not like yours is different than mine. It should always be 120/80.
Yeah, no matter who
or,
you
or
are.
below. Yeah, or no matter who you are. Biggie was when he mentioned that.
Lizarton, I'm on that.
Okay, he's got it.
Oh,
you know Lizarton. You're.
Oh yeah, I've been on that for a while.
You like it?
Yeah, he's right. It doesn't have some of the. I've never had any side effects from it, like you hear about other medicine.
So you and I could be on the same meds.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all can
Pill
share.
brothers.
We could be pill brothers.
Yeah.
We're
Podcast.
Pill
okay.
party.
You bring yours, I'll bring mine.
The Pill Brothers in here. I like it. Let's do that. Let's be Pill Brothers.
Chris Demm missed the insurance meeting as well.
Oh, what a great
Oh,
meeting.
I know.
Great. I told him about that woman and her feet.
Well,
That was so great.
Chris Demm has a new love.
Oh,
Chris Kelly has a new love.
I
you're
love
telling
her.
about the
Yeah.
how she also threw shade to the whole room by going, too many of y'all on prescriptions in here.
Did that. Well, let me say two things she did. Yes, she told us a story, which I told earlier in the week when you weren't here.
Once you hear it, you can't forget it.
It's marvelous.
About a woman who broke 2 feet.
I'll have to say, I'll have to say, and this is, of course, my blood pressure was up, and I said something disparaging about you, which I never should have said. The woman told a story.
The day of the meeting.
During the meeting, and she was saying, don't go to the emergency room and don't go to the urgent care. You can save so much money. And she goes, I'll give you a personal example. I was doing some work around the house, fell off a ladder, broke both my feet. Okay. My husband said, oh my God, I'll take you to the emergency room. She said, you will not. Get me an Advil. I'll crawl to bed. She did. Dave said she dragged herself like a seal to the bed.
No back legs.
No back legs. Mm-hmm. And my eyes are getting wide. Like, what? I was so impressed with her. She said, I laid there until the next morning in agonizing pain. I got up. I crawled to the car, wiggled herself up like a seal. Like a snake.
Yeah.
She sideswiped 3 cars on the way.
Dragged myself like an 18th century handicap person.
Yes, that's right. That's right. To see her own doctor. And the doctor said, I'll do an x-ray. She said, you will not. These feet are broken. I know they're broken.
Well, we need to know the extent, the location.
No. She got in and out. She got treated within an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And she said, and by the way, I went to work with those 2 broken feet after I went to the doctor.
And that's when Kelly swooned.
I applauded. And then I turned to everyone at the table and I said, notice Chris Demm's not here today. He's got some bad ribs.
Yes, he's not here.
Out with a braised rib.
Out with a braised rib. This woman had 2 broken feet. I said, I love you. I mean, it was unbelievable. I was so impressed with her. I was. Then she had knee pain, went for an MRI. She went to see the doctor. Doctor said, I need to do an MRI. She goes, you do not?
Not on me.
Wonderful. And then she said, y'all on too many medications. Stop taking so much medicine. You pay less for your insurance. One of those. We had that as well.
I don't think Chris Kelly's ever been more excited in a meeting.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. This is the Am I an A-hole? They do this sometimes online on Reddit. And I am totally with this guy who is being accused of being an a-hole. And he literally said, am I the jerk here? Am I the wrong? He's 19 years old. He was on a flight. Flight was going from Philadelphia to Miami. And he, on his own device, was watching the movie Deadpool. And he had his AirPods in so he could hear the movie. And by himself, he was sitting there watching on a iPad, watching the movie Deadpool. Now, you all have seen that, right?
Yep,
It's R-rated. Unbeknownst to him, behind him was a 5-year-old child who could see the movie through the seats.
That's how I watched 80 for Brady.
That's right.
Between the seats.
I think it's the only way to watch it. 80 for Brady, yeah.
I was behind the lady watching 80 for Brady.
But the kid could not hear it. He could only see it. But apparently there was at least one scene, and the kid started crying and screaming because the scene was so violent. You've seen the movie. Was it violent?
Yeah, I mean, it's violent. I don't know what...
It's comic book violence.
Yeah, who knows what a kid could have cried
Well, he's only
about.
5, so
he might have just thought the character was scary looking.
Well, yeah, and Deadpool, when he doesn't have his suit on, is scary looking.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe that's what he saw. Whatever he saw, he cried and told his mom, he's traumatized by it. So the mom taps the 19-year-old who's watching the movie on the shoulder and says, how dare you watch an R-rated movie? There's a child behind you who has no choice but to see this between the seats. It's like, there it is. He's looking. It's right in front of him. And the guy said, am I wrong here? He apologized. But then he thought, shouldn't I be able to, and that's why he put online, shouldn't I be able to watch what I want to watch? My own headphones, my own tablet. I'm with him. I mean, don't you think?
Well, you can't watch whatever you want to watch. I mean, if he's
Well,
watching...
you can't watch porn. You can't watch porn.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. You're right. But you can't. But but it's him. It's not. But there's a kid behind him that can see it.
I'll tell you this: if the mom had not been so accusatory, maybe if she had just tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, movie's freaking my kid out some. You mind?"
Yeah.
I would have been like,
She was mad. She yelled at him. He said she yelled at me.
See, that's to me the yelling, and then I probably would have been like, "It's it's on a plane."
But the
your kid's
long and
around.
short of it, is it appropriate or is it inappropriate? The next time he's on a plane, should he be allowed to do it or not?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
too.
so too.
I think
yeah.
so too.
Yeah. If the mom, like I said, politely,
But her behavior aside, it's like, should you do it or should you not do it? It's an R-rated movie. There might be a kid around, but they're not hearing it; they're seeing it.
Aren't there the movies they offer in the back of the seat? Aren't some of those R as long as there's no nudity in
But
them?
they cut them.
They may cut them. I don't know. I remember that in the old days they used to cut them for airplanes, but now they're not showing them on one screen. Everybody has their own screen.
Right.
I will say the only thing I'll say is, I think there's a little bit of reading the room. Like if I was that person and I saw there was a kid behind me, I might have thought to myself, this kid's going to maybe see some of this. Maybe I shouldn't watch Deadpool.
He says he was unaware there was a child behind him.
But it's a comic book movie.
It is, but it's R-rated.
It's R-rated.
It's R-rated, and
Yeah, but it's
scary.
mostly for language.
Okay, and they can't hear the language. But you say
right.
that the visual of him is
Well,
at some
he's just
point
scary, but I mean, the kid's 5.
Well, if I wanted to watch, I don't know.
It'd be like watching, other movies where people are handicapped. Basically,
right,
he's just scarred.
Right. Okay. So he's a 5-year-old, but it's an inappropriate movie for a 5-year-old, right?
I wouldn't let a 5-year-old watch Deadpool.
Yeah, it's not
no.
made for a 5-year-old.
What if you watch a movie with nudity, but it's an R-rated movie? Is that okay? If a kid can see it behind you,
I'd stay away from nudity.
I do too. I agree. Interestingly,
I never think about the people behind me. I'm
I don't
people
either,
worried about
but
the
those
people next to
inside,
me.
Yeah, he saw it through the crack.
I don't feel bad for the guy watching it. I never know who's behind me. I never look.
I don't either.
Yeah, it's not your business.
No.
Anonymous flight attendant. You know about movies on planes and how they do them. Go ahead.
Yes. So what has happened to me is, unfortunately, we had a gentleman watching an R-rated movie on a completely full flight to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple mothers walking by and told us about it, and we had to let him know very quickly. He had to stop that.
Okay.
You can watch just about anything you want, but porn is unfortunately a no-no.
Mm-mm.
R-rated movies, you're fine as long as you have your earplugs in and no
Okay.
one else can hear.
So you're saying this guy was watching porn, that's why you stopped him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big no.
Well,
Going to Florida?
obviously.
I bet that
right.
happens once a month. Somebody tries that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it a lot. Unfortunately. You're a warrior in the skies. Thank you, anonymous flight attendant. We appreciate
Where'd that come from?
It came off to I've been critical of flight attendants in the past.
You really
and I just
have.
want to say
Trying to get on board.
I'm trying to get on their good side because I feel like they do such a nice job and there's
Yeah,
so much
porn's
to
not
do.
acceptable
Of
anywhere,
course not. Of
except
course
at
not.
home.
I don't know, but I don't think nudity is either. Honestly, I really.
I would never
wouldn't
watch.
do
Would
it.
you want to see
with
bounce?
nudity.
Would you watch Porky's on an
No,
airplane?
no, I would not.
What about
That's
airplane?
So the sex is the drawing of the line.
the nudity.
Yeah.
You know, and sex. I think a graphic sex. I would not watch Porky's on a plane. But
Indecent proposal.
yeah, I did.
Do you see any boobies?
What do you say?
I
But they're
can't-
so hot. They're so good
Yeah.
looking. They're so hot.
I think there is some. Isn't
There's
Demi
maybe-
naked a little bit?
Maybe, but not much.
Michael, you're talking about movies on planes. Go ahead.
Hi. First off, I love that the previous caller said, "Unfortunately, you're not allowed to watch porn on
I
the
like
plane."
that too.
Yeah,
I noticed
we all
that.
feel
I
like
noticed that. Yeah, yeah.
The point I was calling in about is that, like, on a flight I was on American Airlines, like, Deadpool was part of their, like, catalog of movies that you could watch. So,
Right.
kind of piggyback with what she was saying, like, if the airline provides it, then I don't think he's an a-hole at all. Like,
I don't either.
Well said.
but they cut it.
They
I'm
have
sure.
to, because let me say, Deadpool's now on like cable channels.
Yeah.
It's on a lot, actually.
That's probably the version. They
So that's
show.
the version they're probably offering there.
Exactly.
But they're still going to show him without a suit. They
Oh, yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah. Which we don't know that's what triggered the kid, but
No.
you know that is one of the. You
The
say,
lady
I've
needs to
seen
mind her kid.
And I think there's a couple of sexy scenes.
Easy, Dave. Blaming the mom
I don't
again.
know about that. I mean, if the crack is, I mean, Chris Demm did watch 80 for Brady.
But you got to bring something for a 5-year-old to distract.
You got to
you
do something. You
can't-
can't let him look through there, or can't you shove your sweater or something in between
I don't think
the
she even
seats?
knew. I don't believe she even knew he was watching it. He just sat there and saw it through the seat, and they was sitting quietly.
He started screaming.
Suddenly, he said, you know, he was like thrown by something, And so, but I think the guy should be allowed to watch it. I'm okay with it.